Titans, episode 13, season finale, Purple Rain. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of Titans. Woo! And as much as I love Titans this season, and I enjoyed everything that happened with all the DC shows that are on right now and with all the coverage that I'm doing, I am not upset that this is the season finale. And it was, I do have some thoughts for it. A lot of good things, a lot of, not so great things. But we'll see as we get right into it. Because in our last episode, Crane was about to launch, his major plan. And, it was basically like fear bombs, I guess. He has a whole bunch of these fear bombs, and he has them spread out all over the city. And, he's going to detonate them, he's going to kill people, and he's going to destroy Gotham, and so he can rebuild it from the ground up. Now, like I said in last week's episode, when Donna, Tim, and Tim's family, when they were all being shot at by the crooked GCPD officers, then, Raven and Beast Boy, they showed up, they did what they had to do, they got rid of everybody. Gar still turned into the damn tiger, so I'm just like, we can't escape this tiger. And then, then after that, they defeated the crooked GCPD cops. They saw they saw Donna, they were excited, Raven and Donna, they hugged each other. Beast Boy and Donna hugged each other. And then, they were just like, Raven was like, oh, Dick sent us to come get you and unite the Titans. So they were just like, all right, so we just gotta wait. Donna was just like, we gotta wait 1 second because someone's coming. And then after they stopped the cops, Tim was gonna leave and go back with his family. But then surprise, surprise, his mom of all people, she was like, no, honey, you belong with the Titans and you should go with the Titans because you're, you gotta fulfill your destiny. And then his dad was like, make us proud, boy. And Tim ended up going with the Titans. And Donna was like, yeah, I knew it. And I'm like, first of all, you've been talking him out of it, for the last 5 episodes. That was so that you knew it. But, that's his destiny and that's his calling. Donna had got a call from Barbara, talking to her about, the bombs and everything that was going on with Professor Crane. Starfire, Blackfire, and Superboy, they were, in the midst of the fallout with the whole thing with Superboy blowing up the ship. And the funny thing about Superboy, he purposely did it. He intentionally did it for selfish reasons. And right after he did it, he immediately, regretted it. And then, Starfire got mad and she was like, why did you do that? And then he was just like, I don't know. And I'm like, damn well why you did that. He was just like, I'm sorry. He was like, I didn't mean it. And then, Starfire got mad because she was like, one thing about you people, by you people, I mean Earthlings. She said that you guys are the masters of doing the most stupid, jacked up, most effed up things to people and then regretting it immediately afterwards. And she was like, I'm sick of people trying to take back, justifying being an asshole. And then Blackfire actually stepped in and she was just like, no, coriander. She said that, I can forgive Connor because, and she was just like, oh, you're okay with him blowing up your ship? She was just like, yeah, because that's exactly what I would do. She said that he made a selfish decision. He looked out for himself. Calm was just like, that's me. That's who I am. That's probably why he and I get along so well, because she said in the end, I would have made that choice too. She said, I would have made the selfish choice because she said that's the only way you can get what you want, is to fight for it and put somebody in a compromising position to the point where they have no choice but to bend to your will. And then Starfire was just like, you know what? I'm out. She was like, I'm out. I'm done with this. I ain't doing this. She's like, you two can have each other. I'm out. And then she starts walking away. And then she gets the call from Barbara regarding the whole Crane bomb situation. Barbara now, she's at the GCPD. Well, because she's inside the Oracle room. And while she's in the Oracle room, the black woman with the short blonde hair, who's been Barbara's right hand throughout the entire season, she's walking to the Oracle room with a bunch of GCPD cops, crooked cops. And then while she was walking them to the door, because they were going in there to get Barbara and pull her out of the room, the woman had said to them, she was just like, I think her name was V, they called her V. She said to the cops, she was just like, look, she was just like, are you sure you want to roll up on Barbara Gordon? Because first of all, if you do that, she's still the police commissioner. And by you attacking the police commissioner, that's going to put you in a compromising position to where you can lose your job. And that's only if she doesn't bust your ass when you try to go into that room. And of course, they got the machismo, so they're just like, oh, we'll take our chances with a white girl in a wheelchair. So, they go into the elevator to go get Barbara, and then V is just like, I knew you was going to say that. And then when the doors close, as the elevator gets to the Oracle floor, Barbara pulls out her gun, and then when the doors open, all the cops are beat up all over the floor because V done kicked their ass. And then she told Barbara, she was just like, come with me. Her and Barbara go back upstairs, and then she was just like, did you beat up those guys? And she was like, I sure did. And then that's when she told her, she said that she was with Argus. She's like, this whole time she's been working for Argus, and Roy Harper, of all people, was the one that sent her to Gotham to look out for Barbara to begin with. And then she was just like, it's time for us to take back your city. And then she opens up a private room, and there's a whole bunch of Argus agents there because at this point they can't trust the GCPD. So they brought Argus in to take down the GCPD and to help restore honor to Gotham. So now Barbara's like, bet, we back in business. They hack into the Argus satellites and they get a fix on the whole bomb things with Crane. Barbara then calls Dick, who's with Jason, and then she tells him about the bombs, and then, while they were talking about what they could do about the bombs, the T symbol went up into the air, and then he was like, oh, nice touch. But she was like, that wasn't me. She's like, I didn't put the T symbol up. And then Crane got on the horn, and he was talking to Dick, and that's when he told Dick, he was like, I have 10 bombs all over the city, and let's see if you can find them, before it's too late. But, oh, you're too late for this one. And he detonated one of them, and it blew up this building, and I think they said close to, anywhere between 50 and 200 people died because they were in that immediate blast vicinity. So then Red Hood and Dick, they were just like, okay, what are we going to do to stop Crane? And then he was just like, well, we're going to need the Titans for that. And then, Red Hood was just like, well, that's not a good idea because the Titans hate me and they're not going to just take me back and welcome me back with open arms. And then Dick was like, you're right. And then he pulled over. He was like, yo, get out. Because he was just like, yo, I can't bring you back to the Titans because we're already trying to stop the war of Jonathan Crane. Bringing you back is like, that's going to start another war. And ain't nobody got time for that. So then he was just like, oh, so I'm just like your quiet pet project. He was like, nah, he said that, but you're looking for redemption. Taking down Crane is going to help you get that redemption. But the whole conversation with what you did regarding the Titans, that's a different conversation for a different day, and we can't have that conversation now. So he said, I'm going to call you when I need your help, so just stay in the cut and wait for me. So he throws Jason out of the car, and then he goes meet up with the Titans. While now everybody's in the room together, Tim, Gar, Rachel, Raven. And one thing that I was sad about, and I thought, I thought this was a missed opportunity. They showed the scene where Rachel and Gar saw Donna for the first time, because remember, everybody thinks she's dead. They saw her and they were happy to see her. They gave her a hug, and they were talking to her, whatever. We didn't get that scene with Starfire. We didn't get that scene with Beast Boy. Hell, we didn't even get that scene with Dick and Donna. And Dick was actually aware of the fact that Donna was alive, and I still don't know how Dick knew that she was alive. But it was because the thing is, Donna and Starfire had built a friendship. They had it because in season 2, they were a crime fighting duo. So the fact that they're all just in a room now trying to stop Crane's plan, and Donna and Starfire just at a table together as though she never died, I was just like, well, that was a missed opportunity, and I was a little down on that. But anyway, so he's going to the different Titans, and they're trying to figure out how to stop Crane, how to find the bombs, and how to save the people that already died. And then when he goes to Corey and he goes to Donna, he's just like, oh, can we use the Lazarus pit to save those people's lives? And then, Corey was just like, I don't know. She's like, you're asking for a miracle. And then Dick was like, you goddamn right. I'm asking for miracles. He's like, yo, we the Titans, damn it. He's like, you better put some respect on our name. He was like, you better pull something out of your ass. Cause he's just like, yo, this is like, we need this. Like, we need you guys to really do this. And then he went off in the cut. He had a conversation with Superboy. He apologized for blowing the kryptonite dust in his face. And then, but the thing with Superboy was because he had turned on Commander, because he turned on Blackfire, he was just like, look, I understand you did what you had to do. He was like, yo, we still fam. He threw the hand up. They did the Soul Brother handshake, and then it was all good. And then, after that, after everything was all good and smooth out, because Superboy even said, he was like, yo, we got bigger problems to worry about. And then that's when it hit Dick. Crane had said before, he had made mention about doing the exact same thing he did before when Batman and Robin tried to stop him. And Dick was like, yo, back then when we did try to stop him, he was running around the city. He said we were running around the city trying to find his bombs or whatever. And he said that's exactly what Crane wants us to do. He wants us to repeat the same pattern over and over and over again. So then he told everybody, he was like, yo, stop what you're doing. He said, stop looking for the bombs because that's what Crane wants us to do. What we need to do is come up with a plan to take down Crane himself and not so much focus on the bombs. But we do need to try to find out a way to save the people that died in the first explosion. Then Corey comes up to him and she's like, yo, we got a bad idea and it might turn out to be good. And he was just like, all right, let's see what you got. So here's how the whole thing breaks down. Raven, Starfire, and Blackfire. they went down to the Lazarus pit. They had Superboy waiting in the cut because Superboy was on the board talking about the plan with mixing like heat with cold and everything and making rain. Their plan, and I actually don't have a problem with this plan, to be honest with you. Their plan was they were going to use the three of them to take the water from the Lazarus pit, shoot it off into the atmosphere, disperse it into the clouds, and cause a rainstorm of Lazarus water to save all the people that died in the first explosion. The casualties in that first explosion wasn't that big. It was anywhere between like 50 to 200 people. They said there's enough Lazarus water, if we can convert it to rain, there's enough of that to save these people and bring these people back to life. But if another bomb goes off, we're not going to get that chance. So they said that you got to stop Crane because we only got one shot at bringing these specific people back to life. So then they ended up getting the thing. Everybody used their power. And Raven even said at one point, she said that the thing with the Lazarus pit is it takes your deepest, darkest fears and all your pain and suffering and it keeps it like bottled up. So that's why they asked her, they said, are you sure you're going to be able to do this? And she was like, yeah, I got this. So she ends up picking up the Lazarus water. Blackfire used her power to heat it up. And then Starfire, she used her brand new power that she has to create a force field. Now, my whole thing is, I feel like we've glossed over Starfire's new power. Like, how does she know she can create a force field to keep that water trapped in? It's like, how does she even know about her own powers to know what she can do? There's a lot of aspects about Starfire's brand new power that just got left on the table and never got explained. And I hope they explain that next season because we need to dive a little bit more into that. So they take the Lazarus water, they shoot it off into the atmosphere. Superboy uses his freeze breath to freeze it into the atmosphere. And then after, like the heat with the cold and everything got mixed together, the clouds started forming. And then just before it started raining, there was a lightning storm. And then while there was a lightning storm, they were just like, that's when Corey said, she was just like, damn it. She said that we are trying to save these people, but if the lightning cooks them in the process, because it's like, it makes no sense to have it rain, have somebody be brought back to life, and then they get struck by lightning and like die again. And then that's when Donna came out of nowhere and she was like, yo, I got this. And then they were just looking at her like, bitch, you already died, like because of electricity and because of lightning. And then a la Wonder Woman 1984, she used her magic lasso to grab the lightning and ground it, and she used it to like keep herself grounded on the floor. So she kept the lightning focused on her, and this time it didn't kill her because she smartened up from the last time that happened. So then like the rain dispersed. Everybody got a Lazarus shower, and it brought everybody back to life, and all is good. They saved the people, and and everything's good and happy. The doctor from before, he came back because Connor had called him, and then he was actually pretty funny because he actually called Rachel Raven. Which means, are they calling her Raven on the internet? Like she actually called, he was like Wonder Girl, he was like Raven. He actually said that. He took a selfie with him too, which was funny. But the reason why Connor had brought him there was because since Connor's like super intelligent, because he has the smarts of both Superman and Lex Luthor, he has a photographic memory and he remembered exactly how to rebuild, Commander's ship. So he gave the guy the blueprints, and he's going to work on putting the ship back together so they can get, Blackfire back home to Tamaran. So now the other group of people, they're trying to break into the house so they can stop Crane. But they were just like, there's an alarm system, and then there's GCPD in there. So, Dick was like, well, don't worry about the GCPD. He was like, I got that part covered, but you guys got to disable the alarm and hook this flash drive up to the server. So then he had the conversation with Gar, because he was like, listen, I need you. He's like, you turned into a bat before. I need you to turn into a bat again and fly into my room so you can disable the alarm and so you can connect the server. And then Gar was just like, oh, I only did that once. And then I was in unison and blah, blah, blah. And then he was just like, I don't think I can do it. And then he was like, we need you to do it because we're sick of that damn tiger. And it's now or never. So he was just like, yo, get it together and get the goddamn job done. Then after that, it takes us back to the house where we see Red Hood going into the house because Dick had planted him there. And, he told it, like, when Red Hood went into the house, he told the GCPD, he was like, oh, I want to take my chances with Crane because I don't want to be caught in an explosion. And then the cops, they told Crane, they was like, yo, Red Hood's upstairs. And Crane was like, kill his ass. Red Hood ended up fighting the GCPD. They got into a big fight in the kitchen. He killed everybody and made it safe for Dick to come into the house. So Dick goes into the house now. He gave Tim the walkie. Tim was outside talking to Beast Boy. Beast Boy got upstairs. He flew in like a bat. He got into the room. He connected the server, but he was supposed to cut a wire to connect the server someplace else. Dick told Tim, he said that when Gar's in position, tell him to cut the red wire. And then Tim was like, you never cut the red wire. He was like, yo, just cut the red wire. So then Tim was just like, yo, Gar, Dick said cut the red wire. He was like, you never cut the red wire. But then when he cut the red wire and he tried to hook up the server, it had a passcode. It said that, there was a security question and he only had 3 chances to do it. And when, because Tim's the detective, he asked him, he was just like, what's the security code? Because the question was the one who got away. And because Tim is the detective and because Tim's been stalking all these people for his entire life, he knew that the answer to the question was Selena Kyle. And he told Gar, he was like, yo, type in Selena Kyle. And when he typed in Selena Kyle, it worked. Access was granted. And then, he went in to go hook up the server and everything. And then, that's when Gar was like, who the hell is Selena Kyle? And then Tim started laughing. So then like they got in and then, on Barbara's end, she got in and then Nightwing, Red Hood, and Gar showed up. Gar saw Red Hood and then, he was just like shit, but him and Jason didn't get into it because he was the one who he wanted redemption for Jason anyway, so he wasn't going to freak out. And then he told Dick, he was like, you should have told me that Jason was here. And he was like, yo, shut up, it wouldn't have mattered. And he was like, you still should have told me. So then after that, they disabled all the security protocols. They hooked up the server so Barbara can access the Bat computer. And then that's when they went downstairs to the Bat cave to go take care of Crane. But Jason didn't go because Jason said all he wanted to do was let Crane know that he had a hand in taking him down and foiling his plans. So he said, because I helped you guys and he knows that I helped you, that's all the vengeance that I need to let that son of a bitch know that it was me that took him down. He said going down there and bringing him to justice, he was like, that's a Titans matter. And like you said in the last episode, I'm no longer a Titan. He's like, I got my own problems I got to worry about. He said, just tell the others that I'm sorry and I'm just going to go off and do what I do. And then, Jason left, he took off. And then Tim, Gar, and Dick, they went downstairs to go fight Crane. And the funny thing about Crane, because Crane, from a physical standpoint, he's not a threatening guy. Like, he's not the most threatening person of all time. Like, he puts no fear, pun intended, he puts no fear in no one's heart from a physical standpoint. And because you got Starfire, because you got Superboy, because you got Raven, because you got all these superpowered characters, someone like Crane could have been taken out a long time ago. But because everybody had their own personal issues they had to deal with this season, the superpowered people didn't have time to bust Crane's ass. So Crane spent the whole season being the big bad. And then when Dick, Tim, and Gar go downstairs, Tim just punches him in the face and knocks him out, proving that Professor Crane, the Scarecrow, ain't shit. And I was just like, you let him torture y'all for 13 episodes just to get punched in the face by Tim? I was like, it would have been nice to, like, if anything, it would have been nice to see Crane put the Scarecrow costume on and at least try to fight them in the Batcave before they eventually take him down. The fact that Tim just punched him one time and he dropped, it just sends the message that Crane is a complete bitch. He's a complete 100 total percent biatch. And like that's a little underwhelming, but like it is what it is. So so they save the day. The people are saved, everyone's saved, and then after that, now the Titans are trying to figure out what they can do. What are the next steps for everybody. Barbara had called Donna to the GCPD, and then Donna was met by V. And then V was just like, yeah, I work for Argus. Your boy Roy Harper says hello. And then she said that ever since you and Starfire took down Shimmer, I've had my eye on you. And then she said, I don't know what your next chapter is in life, but she said you should give Argus a call because we can use somebody like you to help clean up the streets, and you can team up with Roy Harper. And if Donna decides to do this, that means we might actually get to see Roy Harper, because there's no way she doesn't join Argus and Roy Harper doesn't join Argus with her. So, because he already works there. So there's no reason why the two of them won't team up. So hopefully we'll get the two of them in the next season and we can actually have Red Harper, like Roy Harper. That would be really cool. Dick goes in to talk to Barbara. The two of them stare into each other's eyes and say nothing at the same time. She asked Dick, she was like, what are you going to do now? And then he was like, yo, we're going back to San Francisco. You should come with me. And she was like, well, I have to rebuild the GCPD. You should stay here with me. Both of them knew the other one wasn't going to go. and then they was just like, well, this relationship is over. But they did it in, in a loving, respectable way. And they said their goodbyes, and then, then Dick walked out. Donna and Dick had a little conversation. Donna was just like, yo, maybe I'll try the Argus thing. But then he was just like, she's like, she said first I'm gonna go see Donna, and tell her what Hank told me to tell her. And then she was like, who knows, maybe I'll hit up Argus, and then we'll go see about the Argus thing. So then Dick was like, all right. He said the entire Titans, they're waiting at the airport for me because we're going back to San Francisco. He was like, yo, so come with me, let's take a ride. So he ends up renting an RV, and all the Titans are there in the airport waiting for Dick. Dick pulls up in an RV. And, he's just like, hey, I thought we could actually have a road trip and we can drive down back to San Francisco instead of taking Bruce's private jet. He was like, taking the RV would be way better than taking the Wayne private jet. And then everybody looked at the private jet and looked at the RV. And they was like, nah, son. They said that taking the road trip might actually be fun. Corey was not having it. And Corey was like, nah. She was like 44 hours in this, but she's like, nah. But, but then they ended up doing it. Everybody jumped in. And then, then after that, Tim, and then Blackfire showed up. Her and, Corey, like, they made peace. They hugged it out or whatever. And then Donna, Blackfire, and Tim were standing there. And then, Dick looked at Tim and he was just like, yo, you trying to be a Robin or not? And then he was like, of course I want to be a Robin. He's like, well, get your ass on this bus then. Because he was like, yo, you got good instincts, you got good detective skills, but you need training. He was like, because you ain't there yet. So he's going to go with the Titans now. He's going to go with them to San Francisco. And I want to see these training sessions. Like, I actually want to, because it's not like he didn't put the Robin costume on this season, which I'm totally fine with. I'm totally fine with because there was no reason for him to put the Robin costume on. However, he was in the Batcave, and since he was in the Batcave, it would have been nice if he at least looked at the Robin costume in the glass case while he was in the Batcave. Like I said, but we'll see. So he's going off to San Francisco to help train with the rest of the Titans. Superboy and Commander Blackfire, they said their goodbyes, and they said so she's off now. She's going off to rule Tamaran. And regarding Blackfire, I don't know. I still feel like the betrayal is coming. Like they did a whole thing this season of making her the borderline redeemable hero. They made her a hero to an extent. She helped save Gotham. She saved a bunch of people. Like Blackfire is a hero. That's not the Blackfire I'm used to. I'm used to Blackfire being a villain. So, and because she has so much animosity, so much rage towards her sister, I feel like even if it's season 4, there will be a point like the double cross is coming. Like Blackfire will double cross her sister at some point, and then we're gonna get some Tamaranian stuff. That was one thing about this season that did bum me out because I enjoyed this season very much. I liked all the Red Hood stuff. I liked being in Gotham. I liked everything that happened, like during the course of the season. Though I think Crane went on a little bit too long as the big bad, but like I said, I don't have a problem. I don't have an overall problem with it. I did enjoy the season. The one thing that I was bummed about was we were told this season we were going to get some Tamaran, and aside from that one episode showing one chamber room of Tamaran and showing Corey and Com's ghetto ass mama, I'm like, we really didn't get any Tamaran. So I hope they rectify that in season 4, and let's actually maybe have like 3 to 4 episodes just focused on Tamaran, or just have her go there, like have Superboy and Starfire go to Tamaran, and let's have like 4 or 5 episodes that they spend in Tamaran, because like I said, we were promised that, and I just wanted to get it. So like I said, so now everybody's on the bus, they're headed back to San Francisco. Like Lord knows what happened to San Francisco while the Titans were gone. Crime must have been running wild, unless that's why Rose stayed behind, because we didn't get any mention of Rose, we didn't get any mention of Jericho, so maybe Rose and Jericho stayed behind to help take care of the city. Titans East or like Titans West, if you will. So if we find out in season 4 that Rose stayed behind to take care of the city in the Titans' absence, then I'll be okay with that. And that would explain why she didn't go with them to Gotham, because she wasn't brought up at all. And then in the final scene, Dick goes into Crane's chambers in Arkham, and Crane told him flat out, he was like, bro, this is Arkham. He said, there are many doors in Arkham, and all them shits revolve. So he was just like, the deal. He's like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to come out, and I'm going to wreak havoc all over Gotham. Once again, it's only a matter of time. And then Dick was like, not this time. And then Raven came in, Rachel came in, and then like Rachel said, she said that the Lazarus pit it keeps your darkest your deepest darkest fears, your deepest darkest secrets, like all your pain and everything. It keeps that inside. She took all that and put it inside of Crane's body. So now Crane is just constantly going through fear and terror, and he's feeling the fear and the terror of all the people, whose souls were, went through the pit. So he's feeling all that. So now he crazy. So we ain't got to worry about him spilling the beans about Bruce's identity or anything. And then Rachel and Dick, like, they both smiled and walked away. And it was nice to see that, because I like the relationship between Dick and Rachel. We got away from that this season, so it was nice to see the two of them together towards the end, because to not for nothing, Rachel is Dick's Robin. Like that's the person who she took in, and that's it. They share a connection, so I like seeing that connection explored. And speaking of connections and Bruce, after everything was said and done, after Donna saved him from foolishly burning down his own house, Donna saved him. He was okay. And then Donna, she went to Gotham City, and Bruce didn't go with her. I'm like, did he walk to Gotham City? Why did it take him so... Now that everything's over and done with, and Crane has been taken down, and Gotham's been saved, now here come Bruce Wayne rolling through the city like it's all good and like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, really, dude? He goes back to the mansion, he's talking to Dick, and then Dick was just like, yo, he's like, I held down the city, but now I'm out. And then, and then after that, then Jason came in, and then Jason and Bruce had a conversation. He apologized for failing him. He was like, can you forgive me? And then Jason was like, yeah, but he was like, you can't forgive me though. And then Bruce was like, I actually can, because he said there's a time where I wouldn't have, but I definitely can forgive you because I made the same mistakes. But then Jason was like, yo, like I did too much shit. He's like, I killed too many people. He was like, yo, he said, I just need to go off and take care of myself, and I got to get my mind right. And, he said, I appreciate you reaching out, like you my man, 50 grand and all, but he was like, I got to go off. So Jason left, Bruce did the goodbye, son. And then I was, then he left. And I was just like, Bruce was just a disappointment the entire season. His whole attitude and his way of thinking, like all the decisions that he made, he's just been a disappointment throughout the entire season. And it was some dirt ass shit that after Donna saved his life, he still didn't come back to Gotham, and he showed up at the last minute when everything was over. So that was the one negative that I had on the entire episode or the season as a whole. Surprise, surprise, was Bruce Wayne. So that was it. That was the season of Titans, and thank you for tuning in. Like I said, there were some things in the season finale that fell a little flat to me. I enjoyed the season, from the beginning. I liked the action. I liked the introduction of the new characters. I loved the Hank episode where he was in the afterlife with everybody. I liked him. I liked the new dynamic. And as HBO Max and as DC Fandom told us, we're getting a season 4 of Titans anyway. So now I'm super excited to see where all these characters go going forward. Regarding this supposed Red Hood spinoff that everybody thinks is happening, I don't see the purpose of a Red Hood spinoff. I'm not thinking about a Red Hood spinoff, and I don't even think they're going to do a Red Hood spinoff. He's just going to come back and appear on certain episodes here and there. He's going to be the guy that, like, he's not a Titan, but he swoops in and helps from time to time whenever they need somebody to do some real shit, and to take care of some real business. He's going to be like the secret agent. He should join Argus, hell, and let him get some redemption that way. But we'll see. But yeah, but share your questions and your thoughts below. Like, let me know what you thought about the season. Again, overall, I enjoyed the season. I love the season. I love the action. I love going to Gotham. I love seeing Barbara. I hated Barbara in the beginning, but the wheelchair fight won me over in the end. And my only down spots was just not seeing a lot of Tamaran and Batman. So overall, I think the season for me was definitely a success. But share your thoughts. Let me know who your favorite character was of the whole season. For me, it's a bunch of different people, because I enjoyed Tim, I enjoyed Tim. I'm a Nightwing fan, so I'm always gonna, enjoy Nightwing. But, like I said, nobody really stood out to me this season more so than anybody else. I just liked people more in different situations. Different people did different things at different times that made me, like them for that particular episode. But overall, like I said, I liked everything as a whole, so I can't really pick one person versus the other. I definitely want us to pursue more of Corey's powers next season. Like I said, but we'll see what happens. Share your thoughts below. Like I said, let me know who your favorite Titan was. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like, if there was stuff you didn't like. And are you looking forward to season 4? And let's talk about some things you hope to see in season 4. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter. Hit me up always on YouTube so we can have these conversations because, like I always say, my channel was created for us DC fans, for people that are fans of like certain video games, certain TV shows. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Arrowverse, and I know for a lot of people like to dump all over the Arrowverse, but there's a huge community of us that loves the Arrowverse and love the Arrowverse TV shows, and my channel is a safe space for us to come in and have our conversations about the shows that we love, which aren't quote unquote popular with the masses. So definitely share your comments and thoughts. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when my other videos pop up, because we're doing all the DC TV. We're doing HBO Max, we're doing Doom Patrol, we're doing Young Justice, Stargirl, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman. We're doing it all, and we're waiting for that Flash crossover when we get Black Lightning back, baby. So that was it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the Titans journey with me. Love you all as always. And for the final time until season 4, for Titans, take care. And I'm out this bitch.